the single most common ingredient in your kitchen, the one you use every single day to bring flavor to your food, might be quietly poisoning you. It sits innocently on your counter, a staple of every meal. Yet beneath its crystal white facade lies a shocking truth. Many of the most popular salt brands on the market are contaminated with heavy metals, toxic additives, and microplastics. This isn't just about high blood pressure anymore. This is about neurotoxins like lead and arsenic making their way into your body, meal after meal. For too long, we have trusted the labels, believing the marketing hype that promises purity and health benefits. But independent lab testing has pulled back the curtain, revealing a dangerous reality that the major salt corporations don't want you to know. We're about to expose the 8 salt brands you need to stop using immediately, counting them down from the least offensive to the absolute worst offenders. Then, we will give you the 2 brands that are truly safe, backed by science, so you can finally make a clean, informed choice for your health. Your journey to a cleaner kitchen starts right now. We begin our countdown with the brands that have long dominated the market, the ones that represent the very definition of refined salt. At number 8, we have Morton iodized salt. This is the iconic salt, the one with the little girl under the umbrella. But that classic image hides a highly processed product. The problem here is twofold: refinement and additives. To achieve that uniform, bright white look, the salt is stripped of virtually all its natural trace minerals, leaving behind almost pure sodium chloride. But the real kicker is the anti-caking agent. To prevent clumping, Morton uses compounds that often contain aluminum. While the FDA considers these safe, aluminum is a known neurotoxin. And for those with sensitivities or compromised health, this daily dose of aluminum is a serious concern. You are essentially trading natural minerals for a chemical agent, designed to keep the salt flowing freely, a convenience that comes at a hidden cost to your neurological health. Moving to number 7. We find a similar offender often found in budget-conscious kitchens: great value table salt. As a generic, highly refined product, it shares the same fundamental flaws as its brand name counterpart. This salt is engineered for maximum shelf life and minimum cost, which means it is aggressively processed and heavily reliant on anti-caking agents. Again, the primary concern is the aluminum-based additives. When you choose a salt like this, you are choosing a product optimized for industrial efficiency, not human health. The trace minerals that make salt a vital nutrient are gone, replaced by chemical stabilizers. It's a cheap source of sodium, but it is nutritionally bankrupt and carries the baggage of unnecessary chemical exposure. The sheer volume of this salt consumed globally means the cumulative effect of these additives is a public health issue hiding in plain sight. Our 6th brand on the list is one that many people have switched to, believing it to be a healthier, more natural alternative: Himalayan Chef Pink Salt. The beautiful pink hue is supposed to signal a wealth of trace minerals, and while it does contain them, that same ancient geological origin is its downfall. Independent testing has shown that many Himalayan pink salts, particularly those sourced from certain regions in Pakistan, contain elevated levels of heavy metals, most notably cadmium and lead. These metals are naturally occurring in the ancient seabed from which the salt is mined. The problem is that the salt is unrefined, meaning whatever is in the ground goes straight into your shaker. Cadmium is a toxic heavy metal that can accumulate in the kidneys, and lead is a potent neurotoxin, especially dangerous for children. The very minerals you seek in pink salt are packaged with toxic contaminants, making this seemingly healthy choice a daily risk. At number 5, we encounter a gourmet favorite, a salt prized by chefs for its delicate texture and clean taste: Malden sea salt. This is a high-quality, hand-harvested sea salt, and its flaky crystals are a sign of minimal processing. However, being a sea salt, it is vulnerable to the contamination of modern oceans. Recent independent lab tests have flagged Malden for containing detectable levels of arsenic. Arsenic is a known carcinogen, and while the levels found may be low, the idea of adding a known poison to your food every day is deeply unsettling. The ocean is no longer the pristine source it once was, and sea salts, even the most artisanal and expensive ones, are now a mirror reflecting the pollution of our planet. When you choose a sea salt, you are making a choice about the health of the water it came from. And sadly, the water is contaminated. Coming in at number 4 is a brand that has built its entire reputation on being a pure, unrefined, and mineral-rich alternative. Baja Gold Sea Salt. This brand is often promoted by health influencers for its low sodium chloride content and high mineral profile. However, when put to the test, Baja Gold has shown surprisingly high levels of both lead and cadmium. The source of this contamination is likely the unique environment from which it is harvested, where the salt naturally concentrates the heavy metals present in the water and soil. This is a perfect example of how unrefined does not automatically mean clean. The very process that preserves the beneficial trace minerals also preserves the toxic ones. For those seeking a truly clean salt, Baja Gold represents a significant risk, delivering a cocktail of essential minerals alongside harmful heavy metals. The third brand you should never use again is one of the most popular health food salts on the market, frequently recommended by wellness gurus. Redmond Real Salt. This salt is mined from an ancient seabed in Utah, which should, in theory, protect it from modern ocean pollution. Yet, independent laboratory testing in 2024 revealed alarming results. Redmond Real Salt tested positive for 290 parts per billion of lead and 91 parts per billion of arsenic. To put that into perspective, the recommended action level for lead in food consumed by young children is significantly lower. While the company argues that these are naturally occurring trace amounts, the reality is that you are consuming measurable quantities of two of the most dangerous, heavy metals known to science every single time you season your food. The promise of a pure, ancient salt is overshadowed by the presence of these undeniable contaminants. Our second most dangerous salt brand is another darling of the health and wellness community, a salt that has been aggressively marketed as the ultimate mineral source. Salina Naturally Celtic Sea Salt. This gray, moist salt is famous for its high magnesium content and is often cited as the gold standard for electrolyte balance. However, the same independent testing that exposed Redmond Real Salt delivered an even more shocking verdict for Celtic Sea Salt. This brand tested positive for an astonishing 626 parts per billion of lead and 140 parts per billion of arsenic. These levels are dangerously high, far exceeding what is considered safe for regular consumption, especially for vulnerable populations. The gray color, which is often touted as a sign of its natural, unrefined state, is actually a result of the clay beds it is harvested from, which are heavily contaminated with lead. The high price and health halo surrounding this salt make its contamination levels all the more egregious. Finally, the number one salt brand you should never use again is not a single brand at all, but a category, generic sea salt. This includes any unbranded or mass-marketed sea salt that does not explicitly state its source or provide third-party testing for microplastics. The overwhelming majority of sea salt harvested today, over 90% globally, contains microplastic particles. These tiny fragments of plastic, broken down from industrial waste and discarded fishing gear, are now ubiquitous in our oceans. When sea salt is evaporated, these microplastics are left behind, ending up directly in your food. The long-term health effects of consuming microplastics are still being studied, but they are known to carry endocrine-disrupting chemicals and can cause inflammation. By choosing any generic sea salt, you are almost certainly adding a daily dose of plastic to your diet, a grim reminder of the environmental crisis that has now infiltrated your dinner plate. The evidence is clear. The salt aisle is a minefield, but there is hope. The solution is not to eliminate salt, which is essential for life, but to be fiercely selective about your source. After reviewing the data, two brands stand out as truly safe, having been rigorously tested and found to be free of the heavy metals and microplastics that plague their competitors. The first safe alternative is Diamond Crystal Kosher salt. This is a highly refined salt, which is precisely why it is safe. The aggressive processing that strips away the trace minerals also effectively removes the heavy metals and microplastics. While it lacks the mineral complexity of unrefined salts, it is a pure, clean source of sodium chloride, free from the dangerous contaminants found in its pink and gray counterparts. If your primary concern is avoiding toxins, this is a clean, reliable, and widely available option. The second and arguably best safe Alternative is Jacobson's sea salt. This artisanal salt, harvested from the pristine waters of the Oregon coast, has consistently tested non-detect for lead, cadmium, mercury, and arsenic. The company's commitment to clean, sourcing, and rigorous third-party testing sets it apart. It offers the delicate flavor and texture of a high-quality sea salt without the risk of ocean-borne contaminants. Jacobson's proves that it is possible to produce a natural, unrefined salt that is also clean and safe, making it the ultimate choice for the health-conscious consumer. The choice is now yours. You can continue to use the contaminated salts that are slowly adding heavy metals and microplastics to your body, or you can make a simple, powerful change. Stop trusting the marketing and start trusting the science. Remove the 8 brands from your pantry today and switch to one of the 2 proven safe alternatives. Your health is built on the small choices you make every day, and choosing a clean salt is one of the most important steps you can take to protect yourself and your family from the hidden dangers lurking in your kitchen. This is not just about flavor. This is about purity, and it is time to take control of your salt.